Hey everyone, it's Priscilla from Assist Queen Crochet, and I have been asked a lot about different tips I can give you if you want to start your own crochet class. And today I have 7 tips for you, plus one little extra one, so probably about 8 tips altogether on what to do if you're starting your own crochet class. So the first thing I want to talk about is make sure that you can teach crochet. And I feel like that's like a no-brainer, right? You're like, oh, of course. I wouldn't want to do a class if I didn't know how to teach crochet. But some people just really enjoy crochet, but don't stop to think, can I teach it? So make sure that you know how to teach it, that you taught someone before. That's kind of helpful as well. And that if you plan on having a bigger class, that you can teach quickly and efficiently to multiple people, because that's what you'll be doing in a bigger class setting. What also goes along with that tip is making sure that you have the patience to teach crochet. I mean, I'm a person who I feel is very impatient. When it comes to teaching, I have a lot of patience. Make sure that you also enjoy. You're going to be asked a lot of questions, the same questions over and over again, if that's going to bother you. And if your students, the priority is your students. If that's not priority to you, it's about making a quick buck or just, whatever, it's all about yourself. Don't teach. You want to really have space and patience for your students while you are showing them crochet. Because as you know, as a crocheter, it might not be easy from the start. They're really going to need your undivided attention and your full support when they are learning. So make sure that you are a good teacher before you start, especially charging for crochet classes. Tip number 2, find a good place to teach. Now, a lot of you guys have asked where I teach classes, so I am very blessed that there is a place local to me that supports small businesses and has them come and teach whatever their skill is. There's painters, there's all the people who do workshops at this business. It's called Thrive Local, and that is where I teach my crochet class. Now, they do charge me a fee and a percent off of each ticket that I sell for that class, so it is not free. But some other ideas could be a library study room, a cafe, coffee shop, bookstore, as long as you ask in advance if you can host your class there. There's so many options. Definitely do some research. People even invited me to their homes. I have not done that, but there's a lot of things out there you can do and places you can teach that are probably local to you that would love to host your workshop. But definitely do your research, scout out the business. The place that I do mine with, they also do marketing as well, so that has really helped me sell out of my tickets for my classes. Tip number 3, have a plan of what you are going to teach. I get asked a lot, hey, do you have a pattern you give out, blah, blah. I keep it very simple because it's a short class and I don't have time to teach an entire pattern. So what I teach is how to hold your hook, how to hold your yarn, and I make sure I tell them that, hey, there's different ways to hold it. Don't just do my way, find what's comfortable for you. Slip knot, chain, single crochet, and rows. I don't give them a pattern. I don't want to give them any expectations. They have to learn how to make this in a week. I keep it simple. And with those, I guess 5 basics, they can kind of make whatever they want. But that's the basics that I teach. I keep it very simple. So know in advance and make it very clear beforehand to your students, hey, we're going to learn this. And that's it. You know what I mean? You don't have to go above and beyond. You don't want to give them more expectations than what you can personally provide in that class time. Tip number 4. Let's figure out how much you want to charge for your time. Now, I cannot give you an exact formula on what to charge because that's going to have so many variables. How much you're paying, if you're paying anything at all for the place you're teaching your classes at, how much you paid for materials, how much you're going to get paid for your time, what area you live in. There's so many different variables, but I can kind of tell you how much I charge and I can kind of tell you what I base that off of. So I provide all the materials, which includes hooks, darning needles, stitch markers, cute little fancy bags. I got some yarn. I feel like I'm turning into a big twist girly, not a red heart girly anymore. So probably more on that later. The yarn is so soft. Laminated papers, gift bags. I do a giveaway, name tags. I kind of go a little overboard kind of when I do materials, but I really want to make sure that it's more than just teaching, that it's an experience. They get to go home with some fun stuff as well. So I take into account how much I pay for the spot, what they take out of each ticket, my materials, gas, blah blah. I charge $35 for my 2-hour class. That includes everything. So you need to write down all of your expenses and figure out how much you want to walk away with, how much you want to get paid per hour, and kind of divide it out among how many tickets that you're going to have available. Once again, can't give you an exact formula, but just take everything into account. Maybe talk to a friend. Also maybe think about how much you would pay for an in-person, hands-on crochet class. When I first started crocheting, I wish there was a class I could have went to. I didn't know anyone who crocheted. So that's why I love teaching as well, because I get an in-person help. So just really take into account what you're offering and what it's worth and everything that you are paying for. Also, if you want to know where I purchase all my materials at, I have 5mm crochet hooks. Everything I mentioned earlier, I will link it all down below. They're all Amazon affiliate links. That's where I get most of my stuff. But yeah, I'll link it all below if you want to see what I use for my class. I'll also probably show you in a bit. All right, we are on to tip number 5. So my mom was with me for my first beginner's class, and I was alone for my second beginner's class, and I had some concerns about people, not getting enough attention and me staying with one person too long, etc. Because you're teaching. If someone doesn't get it, you just want to help them. So you stay there probably a little bit longer than you should. But I did get around to everyone multiple times, so I had to give myself some grace. But she told me, hey, next time you have a class, set some housekeeping rules. So one of the rules that we talked about and discussed, I'm going to implement in my next class tomorrow, is that there's only a limited amount of time to get to every single person in the class. And that's known. And I will say that I will teach everyone the same thing. But if you're having a harder time, if it's taking you longer than everyone else to pick up the skill, I'll make sure that I go around the table and teach everyone else, but I will come back to you after that round and make sure that you get what I'm trying to teach you. Just so that I don't end up being on someone for way too long when everyone else is waiting to learn the same thing. So if you don't get that, this one person's having a hard time, I say, hey, I'm going to come back. I teach others, and I come back after everyone else has been taught, and I'll show them more in depth, or just give them more time. So that's one of the housekeeping rules that I'm going to start saying before we start the class. And another one I'm going to say is, first of all, I already say this, so I'm just giving it to y'all to say to your students, is that it's only a certain amount of time that they're going to be there to learn how to crochet, and they need to be easy on themselves and give themselves some grace, because you're not going to learn everything about crochet in 2 hours. Now, some will learn faster than others, which is great, but if they don't get it right away and they get it, but it still needs help, that basically, that it's okay if they don't have everything down in 2 hours, but they know the basics, they're given materials to keep practicing, and that they will get it over time. So those are 2 rules I'm going to be saying, 2 things I'm going to be saying before each class. You can have your own housekeeping rules, but that's what I'm kind of going to go off of before the class, so that expectations are set for everyone, including myself. Tip number 6 is set time frames of basically what you're going to teach in each amount of time. And that also goes into know how long your class is going to be, and make sure that you have a certain amount of tickets that you need. That's not going to be too much for that amount of time. I have 10 tickets for a 2-hour class. And what I'm going to start doing is saying, okay, from this time to this time, we're going to learn this, so we can make sure that everything is covered in a merely amount of time. At the end of the class, everyone can ask all the questions they need, so they can go home and be confident to keep learning. So once again, my class is 2 hours. You might want to have it longer. I would say if we're going to have more than 4 or 5 people, in my personal opinion, it should be longer than an hour. The 2 hours in my class, it goes by so fast. Everyone said it. I've said it. But just definitely have times for each thing you're going to be teaching, so you can teach everything basically, in a good amount of time. You don't want to end up having the whole class teaching the slip knot. Oh man, my bad, guys. No. You need to be the teacher, have a game plan, be organized. last and final tip before the extra tip. So I don't know what to call this. Last tip before the extra tip. Have things that people can practice when they go home. I have my own little take-home papers that I made up myself. They have links to my YouTube videos. They can practice in class, after class. They know exactly what they're doing. Links to my next class. And just little reminders and abbreviations and things like that. So it's so important that when people go home after the class, they're not like, I forgot everything I learned, so I paid money for nothing. You don't want that to happen. You want them to go home confident from the class, and then more confident that, hey, when I go home, I can go link this video and learn it all over again without her even being there to hold my hand. So people have asked me if I sell these. I don't, but if y'all want me to like offer these take home papers, let me know, and maybe I will. Let me know in the comments if you want copies of my take home papers, and maybe for like my next video I'll link it below or whatever. Just let me know if y'all even want these, okay? But yes, and that can be in the form of having printed out instructions of what they learned. Just have something where it shows we learned this. Here's what you can keep practicing. Here's what you can practice next, so they can continue on their journey. I have a YouTube channel, so I kind of have things already people can learn. That's something I have. But if you know someone you trust who has a YouTube channel or that has like a good like blog of instructions, link them. It's only helping that creator. You're not claiming it as your own. You're saying, hey, they have good resources. Link them. If you want to link me, I'd be flattered. You can link my videos. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? but yeah, basically have them so they can be prepared after class to keep learning and practicing. Because practicing creates progress, not perfection. Here is your extra final tip. It's always, if you're bringing materials to your class, always pack an extra bag of materials. Because you never know if you accidentally leave one, if you forgot a material out of another bag. Someone might show up last minute. My first class, I had 3 cancellations and then 3 random pop-ups. So it was a whole thing. So always pack an extra bag of materials because you never know what's going to happen. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you had a favorite tip that you felt really helped you, make sure to comment it below. If you have any other questions about teaching crochet classes, also comment below. If there's enough questions, I might do a second video, we'll see. But anyway, I really wish you the best if you decide to start teaching crochet classes. It is so much fun. It's so rewarding. It's just a great experience all the way around, but I really do wish you the best. I enjoy teaching so much. I had to share, things that help me, so maybe y'all can, do better, or get into it, whatever it is. Anyway, have an awesome day, my crochet kings and queens, and I'll see you next time. Watch this video or this video next, and have an awesome day. Bye.